This is going to be a bit longer of a video. Everybody is just slamming me with all sorts of questions that they could more easily answer themselves. I want to share with you a quandary I've been experiencing. I know the answer to, but nobody's paying attention to the answer. I keep telling people how ignorant they are. People want to insist on taking this as an insult. This is not an insult. This is a fact. We are all ignorant. One of the things that makes most people in the world today ignorant is their insistence that things need money. This is an outright lie. The only reason why money is needed for anything today is because there are so many people that insist on using money. So if you don't insist on using money, money's no longer necessary. But money's necessary, right? So instead of getting pissed off, can we start asking ourselves how we are ignorant? That's what I've been doing. That's why I'm able to point these things out. It would be greatly helpful if people started reading things completely, studying, looking into, and doing on their own, instead of coming to me for stupid questions that they don't even realize are stupid. And they don't realize it because they're ignorant of what they are talking about. And until they correct their ignorance, they will continue to be ignorant. And that's what you have been ignoring, making yourself ignorant. It's a process. I'm still ignorant in a lot of ways, even though that I know that there's things I am ignorant of. But see, that's the step in the right direction. When you decide to blind yourself to one side of facts, truth, or anything else, you create a delusion. And that is what America is built off of. Until we can recognize how we are the invading force and we are not the legal government or rulers of this country, we will continue to be ignorant and delusional. These aren't opinions. These are facts based in logic, using science, not the public science that people use today, where people demand everybody else to prove to them that something is. That's not how science works. That's how ignorance works. And so you have been intelligently and scientifically taught how to be ignorant. Break free from your own chains. It's really, really simple. Just start paying attention. Start looking. Start getting curious. Start combining. Start experimenting. That's what life is for. That's how you actually educate yourself. You're never going to learn anything new by going to somebody who knows something that already is. Very simple logic. It sounds like wordplay. Words get in the way. But it's very serious, it's very real, and it's far more real than most of the illusions that people have about what is fact and what isn't. If we were really paying attention to fact, we would not have the entire government that we currently have. You've all been duped. once you can actually come to terms with the fact that you've been sending your family members off to be killed in foreign countries for a lie, we can start correcting it. But as long as we have these idiots ruling our country that are simply saying, I'm right, you're not, because I'm in power, that's about as childish can be. That's not power. That's not authority. That's not rulership. That's dictatorship. That's the I'm special mode. That's the ego. And we're feeding ego religiously and politically because we've been taught that that's the right thing to do. And until we start questioning why it's right, we're not going to figure out how it's wrong. You're killing yourselves by your own, well, ignorance. Because everything that you've been taught is the right thing to do has already been twisted around into the wrong thing to do. That's what happens when you rely on everybody else. That's what happens when you go through so many people that essentially help you out in one way, shape, or form that you ignore the fact that they helped you out in any single way. And you simply claim, I did it on my own. There isn't a single person in America that's done anything on their own. Not a one. I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't explored the backwoods mountains and found people that haven't been contacting other people in the United States. But come on. The logic, the facts are there. We need to reject our government. We need to peacefully align as a people. There's only one kind of thinking that I can think of that can get people to do this. But they need to have abundance of their own and security of their own as a sovereign individual. Not a ruled individual, a sovereign individual. This is the life Grostruction promises. This is the message I've been trying to get out for decades. This is the thing that everybody goes, poo-poo, you don't know what you're talking about, son. The most frustrating thing of all is how people are ignoring how they're destroying themselves. And when somebody like me who sees it points it out that they're ignorant, they're punished, attacked. Do you see why our country is failing? We never really had a country at all. In fact, we've been taught that by supporting what we call a country, we're doing the right thing. The fact is that if we were doing the right thing, we'd be supporting the Native Americans. Not a single other person belongs here. None, including me. I'm not native blood. Kind of wish I was. Until people can start questioning for themselves, they aren't going to be able to correct their own ignorance. And simply lashing out at somebody because they're saying you are being ignorant, because you believe that they're telling you that you are ignorant, which is a choice you have decided to make. It all comes right back down to you. You, listening to this video right now, if you're still listening, it comes down to you. Because I guarantee you, out of the people that have listened the 10 minutes that this video has lasted so far, generous estimate, 1 out of 10. That's being generous. It's more likely that this video will get a couple hundred views, and out of those couple hundred views, there might be as many as 15 people that actually listen to this point. Out of those 15 people, out of the 200 that supposedly, hopefully, will watch this, there might be 1 or 2 that actually get what I'm trying to say. And the craziest part about it, it's so simple you can't really put it into words. That's why you have to experience it yourself. I can't tell you, I can guide you, but you're the one creating your experience. And that's a very real thing, especially when you're talking about growstruction. I mean, think about the process of construction, which is a simplified version of growstruction, to be honest. You have many different tools, you have many different materials, you have many different ways of using all of these things. And any one explanation for how to build a house is going to seem problematic for somebody who has no clue. So here I am trying to explain something that is easily 10 times as complex, and trying to prove that despite its complexity, anyone can do it, as long as they're paying attention to it. That's the key. Pay attention. Start paying attention. You can't read books and say, oh, I know what's going on in the world. You got to get out into the world. Because it doesn't matter how honest a person's being when they're writing something down or when they're saying something. It's going to be at least a partial lie, because the words that are being used are being interpreted differently by the people who are hearing them. Everything I say has quite a bit of power to it. It's latent power. Nobody recognizes it. It's not power that's meant for me. It's power that's meant for you. But because I'm not holding the power, because I don't have a gun to your head, nobody wants to pay attention or listen. It's not the ones that are screaming that are going to be giving the answer. I've done plenty of my own screaming. So, I mean, do I have some answers? Yeah, I've got some answers. Do I have all the answers? Obviously not. A long, long way from all the answers. There is no way to tell the truth while speaking words. But it is impossible to tell a lie to someone who is truly paying attention to you. That's why people don't like to allow others to get to know them. They are so comfortable with lies that they believe privacy is a necessity. Those lies have been necessary in the past because of what we've done to ourselves. Everybody wants to say, oh, it's the evil in the world. It's the evil in the world. And nobody wants to recognize how we're creating the evil in the world. How is it that your society creates evil, because it does. You can see it every day. Just look outside. It's there. It's all over the place. Everybody's gotten so used to seeing it that they shrug it off. So, what's actually evil out there? In truth, if the first thing you think about is a book and what somebody else said is evil, you're missing it. They can guide you to some things, but it takes more understanding of things to understand what is and is not evil. Everything is evil in some way, shape, or form. The only thing you need to do to make evil is put something in the wrong place at the wrong time. But if you put something that seems evil in the right place at the right time, suddenly it's no longer evil. It's a frame of mind. Vengeance. One of the things that we have ingrained into our society and called law. The idea that you hurt me, so I will hurt you 10 times worse. I feel sorry for the ones that are still stuck in that thinking. You don't know what's coming. I can't tell you. I've tried. You won't believe me if I did. Needless to say, if you do something violent towards someone else and you cannot figure out how you love what that something else is, you shouldn't be acting in that violent fashion. The reactionary way of doing things ignores the simple fact that doing more damage after damage has been done is counterproductive. Simple logic. What is our law actually doing? Oh, it's keeping us away from the drugs. What drugs? First off, let's take a really, really close look at the war on drugs. Something that everybody's been ignoring because everybody's comfortable pointing their finger at the supposed problem, when government created the problem to begin with. There wasn't a problem with drugs before the government decided to declare war on it. There was a campaign to get people afraid of drugs so that people would declare war on it. How did they do that? Because you were told to just say no. Very simple thing. People don't realize how that campaign affected far more than the supposed war on drugs. Nobody's paying attention to it. The illegal government that we have today almost collapsed because of the people who were supposedly doing drugs. They were dangerous to the government. The government needed to get the people to believe they were dangerous. So what did they do? They made them look like freaks. And everybody hates a freak. You did it to yourself. There is a way out. There is a path. It isn't going to be found in the words of books. The words of books can guide you to it. You're not going to find it by sitting with somebody who has found it. They could be experiencing it during the time that you're talking, and you would never know. The only way you're going to figure it out is by experiencing it yourself. How do you experience what I am talking about? Well, let's define what it is I am talking about. The ever present word. Not words, word. This is a descriptor, not a definition. It is ever present. It is present in all things. Now I'm going to go back to some science real quick because it speaks to the spiritual truth. When you observe the particle, it becomes a particle. If you are insistent there is only one, then for you, there can only be one. When you observe the wave instead of the particle, now you find God. That is the word of God within you. That is what I'm trying to help people find. And it's very simple. Pay attention to the world around you. Quit letting all these other systems lock you into cages and boxes where you never see any of the world around you. Because if you keep doing things the way you're doing, you're going to walk out of your job or start walking to work from home or driving or however you do. And you're going to find that your entire world has already been flipped, turned upside down because you weren't paying attention to it. And if you're not paying attention to it, to you, it'll seem like it happened overnight. And suddenly all the zombies that, proverbially speaking, you were afraid of are right there in your front door. Start paying attention. We're not going to stop being ignorant. That's part of human nature. We can't know everything. It's an impossibility. But you can start paying attention. You're not going to get it right the first time, or the second time, or the third time. But if you keep going, you will finally figure it out and get it right. The most important thing I can tell anyone is to start paying attention for themselves. You want to ask me where to look? Fine, I'll try to help you. You want to ask me how you can do it? I'll try to help you there too. I don't know exactly what your abilities are. I don't know what you have available to you. You know this, but I'll try to help. That's the best I can do. All right. This is going to be filed under Crazy Talk videos. I'll probably put it in a few other categories as well. For all that this sounds like hate speech to some people, just know it's coming from a place of love, and it hurts to watch you guys destroy yourselves the way I've been seeing it. That's where the rage comes from. It's not because I hate you, it's because I hate what you're doing. There's a big difference. Rising Angel signing off.